At one point in our lives, we've been hurt due to a relationship and connection we've had with another person. You may have had your heart broken from a breakup, gotten into a heated argument with a friend, or maybe a family member died. Whatever the case may be, pain and negative emotions you feel is a risk you take when forming connections with other people. And this risk may not be worth it to some people. That is the decision that the main character, Hachiman Hikigaya, from my teen romantic comedy SNAFU, or Oregairu for short, chooses. In middle school, Hachiman experienced an enormous amount of pain from human interaction. He was a constant target for bullying in the school. This was due to the factors that he was shy and always seemed to be alone, and possibly because he was smart, as we know this because characters such as Kaori mentioning how smart Hachiman was because of the high school he is now attending. Being bullied because of these characteristics is something that very much happens in the real world. Speaking of Kaori, she is another reason why Hachiman decided to close himself from forming relationships in high school. She was one of the few people who was nice to Hachiman in middle school. She would greet him in the morning, wave at him in the hallways, and even exchange email addresses with him. This kindness and caring attitude towards Hachiman led him to having feelings of love for her, and eventually led him to confessing to her. She shot him down harshly, and when he confessed, she just stopped interacting with Hachiman altogether. His confession ruined the one seemingly good relationship he had in school, and seemed to be the tipping point for Hachiman to completely close himself off from forming connections with other people. He didn't want to experience the pain of losing a connection ever again. In high school, he continues to have this mindset. Everything he does just screams at people to stay away from him. From the way he walks with his back hunched and hands in his pocket, to his facial expressions making him seem annoyed and unapproachable, such as going straight to his desk, putting his earphones in, and head down between his arms when he arrives to class. Every action he takes makes him seem unapproachable, and thus no one wants to interact with him. He becomes a complete loner and fully embraces that characteristic. However, things change once Hachiman is forced to join the service club and meets Yui and Yukino. Now, the service club is designed for students to go to ask for help. Anything from helping out the student council to teaching a student to make chocolates, which is how Yui meets Hachiman and Yukino, and eventually decides to join the club. Contrary to how Hachiman views relationships, he actually goes out of his way to help people, sometimes to the detriment of his own health and reputation. He got hit by a car while saving a dog that was about to get run over, and he's not afraid to embarrass himself or have other people hate him if it means he helped out a person in need. Why is that? Why would Hachiman go above and beyond to help other people? Why would he ruin his reputation and his standing with other people around him to help out someone he may not even be close with or even know? He says it's to further distance himself from other people and help him be more alone. But is that really the case? I see it more as a cry for help, for someone to reach out and save him. Hachiman wants somebody to notice his actions and see how good of a person he can be. He truly does want to help out other people, even though it's destroying him both physically and mentally. But at the same time, he wants someone to notice him and forge a strong relationship and connection with him. One where the person isn't just being nice to him out of pity or to improve their own outward appearance, but one where they can rely on one another and help each other out. A connection that will stand strong even through the hard times and arguments with each other. This is the genuine thing Hachiman is searching for. Thus brings us to the two members of the service club with Hachiman, Yui and Yukino. Starting with Yui, she is a bubbly girl who acts nice to everyone, including Hachiman. This behavior of treating everyone nicely is similar to how Kaori was back in middle school. She also so happens to be the owner of the dog that Hachiman saved when he got hit by a car. This mix of her being positive and nice, as well as being the owner of the dog he saved, makes him at first believe that her interactions and friendship with him is all a facade and that she's doing it out of guilt. He sees her as putting on a mask of kindness to Hachiman because she feels this sense of guilt and responsibility that it's her fault he ended up being in the hospital, and this act of being nice to this loner is just a way of her paying her back. As Yui and Hachiman spend more time together, though, their bonds seem to strengthen. Yui gives him homemade cookies, they go see the fireworks together. Their friendship survives an argument where Hachiman tries to push her away by confronting her and telling her he hates nice girls and to not be nice to him out of pity. She was there for him after the whole school began to dislike him, after he lashed out at the leader of the school festival. All of these things show Hachiman the strength of his and Yui's connections, and begins the idea that just maybe this is the genuine thing and connection he's looking for. But there's one more obstacle that must be overcome in Hachiman's mind before he can really believe that the connection he has with Yui is the real thing. And that is, can their relationship withstand rough patches and conflicts between them? This brings us to the other girl in the service club, Yukino. Yukino is a smart, strong girl, but is known throughout the school as the Ice Queen because of how she interacts with other people. She talks and acts very calculated and bluntly with everyone, and that scares off people from wanting to talk with her. She doesn't like to put on a mask with other people, and would rather speak truthfully to the point. This aspect of her is really similar to Hachiman. Both of them would rather have a brutal and honest conversation rather than hiding their true thoughts. Hachiman even recognizes how similar they are after talking with her for a short period of time. Their conversations with each other hold back no punches as they constantly mock and ridicule one another. Yukino makes comments and jokes around how alone Hachiman is while he does the same right back to her. Although their communication may seem harsh from outsiders looking in, neither Yukino or Hachiman dislike each other because of that. In fact, both really enjoy the brutal, honest conversations they have with one another. Hachiman was hurt in the past because of people not being truthful with how they talked with him, while Yukino hates lying and deceiving people. This sort of honest communication gives Hachiman a breath of fresh air, since he knows Yukino won't try to deceive him and that their interactions with each other are always genuine. Although the way Hachiman and Yukino communicate is similar, the reason behind that is drastically different. Hachiman speaks the way he does so that the other people won't get the chance to hurt him. Yukino, on the other hand, is the opposite, in which she speaks the way she does so that she doesn't hurt other people. To her, deceiving others and hiding your true thoughts and intentions is much more harmful than being open and honest. This is what Yukino realizes even though Hachiman thinks they're similar. She counters that and constantly reminds Hachiman that they're not similar at all. She sees through Hachiman, and when he constantly embarrasses and degrades himself to solve problems and pushes others away. She sees how Hachiman is lying and hurting himself, and this is something she heavily disagrees with. The reason why Yukino hates this lying and deceitful nature is because of her sister Haruno. Haruno is very similar to Yukino. She's smart and a strong girl who lots of people looked up to. Haruno is the older sister who accomplished so much. Yukino even recognizes this and respects her while at the same time feels like she is walking in her shadow. The main difference between them, though, is that Haruno loves to toy with other people. She will mess with others' emotions and butt into their relationships so that she can purposely stir things up for her own amusement. Haruno does this with Hachiman by trying to push her and Yukino into being in a relationship. She's interested to see how her sister and the loner Hachiman would react in a situation that is completely new and unknown to them. Haruno acts like this for her own self-amusement and doesn't really care if other people get hurt along the way. This type of behavior is something Yukino cannot stand, and is why she strives to be honest and open as possible, because she knows it is painful to be toyed with and betrayed by others. As the story progresses, the friendship and bond Hachiman, Yukino, and Yui have seems to strengthen. They do activities such as cooking together, helping other people with their problems, such as Hachiman's friend write a light novel and their classmate Saika with the tennis club. They also go to help a middle school camp with their summer activities, which included a girl named Rumi, to try and make her not a loner with her classmates. They help plan and organize the school festival and prevent it from being a disaster. They also overcome some fights within their group, such as Hachiman trying to distance himself from Yui, and Yui and Hachiman arguing with Yukino on whether it's right for her to burden all the student festival leader tasks pushed onto her. Throughout the highs and lows of their time together, the three start to become attached to one another. Their friendship is becoming strong and supportive. This, however, leads to an issue being formed within the group. Both Yukino and Yui start to form feelings for Hachiman and begin to truly care for him. The moment that it became very apparent was during the class field trip to Kyoto. Before the trip, Hayama, who is the super popular and well-liked guy in school, comes to the service club with his friend Toby. Toby makes a request for the service club to help him ask out another friend in Hayama's group, named Ebina. Hayama knows that Ebina isn't interested in going out with Toby, and makes a request behind his back to only Hachiman to try and prevent Toby from confessing. The reason behind this request is that Hayama knows that the group wouldn't withstand the awkward situation of Ebina rejecting Toby. He wants the group's friendship to remain in the status quo. After numerous attempts of the service club trying to get Toby in a good situation to confess to Ebina, they find a perfect chance in the middle of the pathway at night that is lit up by these lanterns. As Toby is just about to confess, Hachiman runs up to them abruptly and says he's in love with Ebina. Ebina realizes that Hachiman is doing this to prevent that rift in their friend group and rejects Hachiman and says she's not interested in dating anyone at the moment. This reaction saves Hayama and his friend's group from falling apart, as well as gets Toby the answer he was looking for on whether or not Ebina would go out with him. This may seem like the most effective solution to the problem, but Hachiman didn't consider how this would affect Yukino and Yui. In Hachiman's mind, he was just doing his job of solving the problem at hand in the most effective way possible. He didn't mind embarrassing himself in front of Ebina and Toei. However, he didn't take into account how Yui and Yukino would react to this. In his mind, the only people that would be affected by his actions would be Toby, Ebina, and Hayama. As Hachiman is walking back to Yui and Yukino, both of them are clearly hurt from Hachiman's actions. Yukio tells him that she hates the way he does things and storms off alone. Yui continues to walk with Hachiman back to the hotel and tells him that he should give more thought to how other people feel and starts to cry. This leaves Hachiman stunned, as this is the first time that anyone has shown any sort of empathy towards him in a long time. Hachiman has always solved problems in his ways that would hurt him and cause people to want to distance themselves from him. He would always tell himself he doesn't mind and he was just meant to be a loner. This was the first time anyone had really shown that they cared about him and didn't want to see him get hurt and embarrass himself. Hachiman struggles to understand how hurting himself will also hurt the people who care about him. As Hachiman struggles with the thought of how he hurt both Yui and Yukino, his teacher Shizuka has a heart-to-heart conversation with him that has one of my favorite quotes from the series. It's impossible not to hurt someone. Humans unconsciously hurt others simply by existing. Whether you're alive or dead, you keep hurting people. Getting involved will hurt them, but trying not to get involved might hurt them too. But if it's someone you don't care about, you won't notice you've hurt them. What's important is your awareness of it. It's because you care about them that you feel like you've hurt them. Caring about someone means being resolved to the fact that you'll hurt them. This quote encompasses what Oregairu is trying to convey to the audience. You're going to meet people who will make numerous, great, everlasting memories with, but you'll also meet people who will cause you pain and heartache. You're going to be the reason why someone will feel joy in their heart, but you will also be the cause of pain to someone else. There will be times when you will hurt someone close to you, and times when someone you care for will hurt you. Sometimes your relationships will survive the hardships, and at times the bond won't be strong enough and will be severed. That's the risk everyone takes once they form a connection with another person. Hachiman really grows from this conversation, and we can see that through two of his quotes. The first being when he apologizes to Yui and Yukino for hurting them during the class field trip. What I want isn't words. I don't want to be understood. I want to understand. I want to understand. I want to know. I want to feel at ease knowing. I want peace of mind. Because not understanding terrifies me. Saying I want to understand everything is extremely self-righteous. It's a dictatorial and conceited wish. It's shameless and repulsive. And I'm absolutely disgusted at myself for wanting that. But if we feel the same way, if a relationship exists where we can force that ugly self-consciousness upon each other and accept it, I know there's no way that can happen. I realize that's completely out of reach, but still I want the real thing. Hachiman realizes his flawed ideas of always taking the safe and comfortable paths in life. He realizes that he needs to start taking these risks. If he's wrong or hurt someone, he can rely on his friends to help him through the tough times, and then he'll learn from the experience and grow as a person. The second quote is when Yui confesses to Hachiman in front of Yukino while trying to give him the ultimatum to either choose her or Yukino. Yui thinks her friendship between the three of them can't survive if Hachiman dates only one of them. So instead of keeping things as status quo, she pushes her decision onto Hachiman. However, Hachiman rejects this way of thinking. This is wrong. I can't go along with that. Vague answers and mutual back scratching. I don't need any of that. But still, by thinking, agonizing, struggling, it's okay to be wrong. When we are, we'll just ask again and keep on asking. This is what Hachiman is struggling with, and is what the story of Oregairu is trying to tell. It's a story about a person afraid of the unknown path that lies ahead, but realizing you need to take that step down that path to grow and learn from the experiences. It's about relying on others when you encounter an obstacle you're unsure if you can overcome alone. It's about a person trying to understand and comprehend the complex nature of human relationships. This is what the heart of Oregairu is. It's a show about connections.